economic evolution, design, artistry, minting technology, and collector. Intrigue that stretches back more than a century. To truly understand the significance of the 1999 Lincoln penny, we must journey back to the early 20th century, to the year 1909, the centennial anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln XVI, President of the United States, and one of the most revered figures in American history. Prior to 1909, the U.S. 1-cent coin had featured a design known as the Indian head cent, which had been in circulation since 1859. But in 1909, President Theodore Roosevelt, inspired by the beauty of European coinage and driven by a desire to elevate the artistic quality of American money-commissioned sculptor Victor David Brenner, to design a new penny that would honor the legacy of Lincoln, the first real person to appear on a regular issue U.S. coin. Victor David Brenner's design featured a right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a portrait based on a photograph taken by Anthony Berger at Matthew Brady's studio in 1864. The reverse originally featured 2 ears of Durham wheat, hence the name wheat penny or wheat cent, symbolizing America's agricultural heritage and resilience. This design was used from 1909 through 1958 and established the identity of the Lincoln cent as a staple of American change and commerce. In 1959, to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the 50th anniversary of the Lincoln cent, the reverse design was changed from the wheat ears to the Lincoln Memorial, located in Washington, D.C. The Lincoln Memorial reverse, designed by Frank Gasparro, added a powerful symbolic depth, not only preserving Lincoln's image on the obverse, but also placing him figuratively within the nation's seat of power, with his statue visible between the columns of the memorial. This design would remain in use until 2008, marking an incredible half-century of numismatic consistency and cultural reverence. Fast forward to 1999, the Lincoln Memorial reverse was still in use, and the penny remained the most common and widely circulated coin in the United States, but many changes had taken place in the intervening decades affecting the metal content minting. Widely circulated coin in the United States, but many changes had taken place in the intervening decades affecting the metal content minting process and cultural significance of the coin, originally minted in 95% copper. The Lincoln cent underwent a major composition change in 1982 due to rising copper prices, shifting to a predominantly zinc composition with only a thin copper coating. The 1999 Lincoln penny, therefore, is struck on a planche made of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, making it distinctly different in both weight and appearance from its earlier predecessors. The year 1999 was significant not just for the United States economy, which was nearing the end of a decade-long economic expansion, but also for the mint itself, which was in the final year before embarking on the massive 50-state quarters program that would begin in 2000. Although not marked by a new design, the 1999 penny carried the culmination of decades of American monetary evolution and minting technology. It was produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, as evidenced by the presence or absence of a mint mark under the date, with P mint pennies bearing no mint mark, and D mint pennies showing the letter D. What makes the 1999 Lincoln penny particularly intriguing to collectors and historians is the sheer volume of coins produced and the subtle variations and errors that arose during production. More than 5 billion 1999 Lincoln cents were struck by the Philadelphia Mint alone, and over 6 billion by the Denver Mint. But among these billions exist examples with doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, clipped planches, and other mint errors that have drawn the attention of numismatists around the world. Some of these errors, such as the 1999 wide AM coins, the 1999 wide AM is one of only 3 such varieties known, along with similar examples from 1998 and 2000, and has fetched significant premiums in the coin market depending on its condition. As we continue deeper into the story of the 1999 Lincoln penny, we begin to explore its place within the broader narrative of late 20th century American coinage, its role in daily life, its presence in the pockets of millions of Americans, and its often overlooked artistry and technical design, the sculpted features of Lincoln's face, the sharpness of the lettering, the precision of the minting, and the intricate details of the Lincoln Memorial all tell a story of craftsmanship and continuity in an era of rapid change. In examining the minting process behind the 1999 Lincoln cent, we also delve into the technological advancements that had taken place by the end of the century, the introduction of computer-assisted engraving, laser scanning, die production, and quality control measures had significantly improved the consistency and volume of coin production. Yet even with such advancements, the human element remained ever present, and mint errors continued to slip through, offering a unique glimpse into the imperfections that make collecting so fascinating. We will now shift our focus to collector interest and market value, highlighting how coins like the 1999 Lincoln penny, despite their common appearance, can become treasures to those who understand the nuances of variety, condition, and provenance in uncirculated condition, especially in mint state grades, such as MS-65, and higher the 1999 penny holds moderate value. But when coupled with error varieties like the wide AM or double die obverse, the value can increase dramatically. For example, a 1999 wide AM in high grade can fetch hundreds of dollars and even more if certified by grading companies like PCGS or NGC. Let us also explore the role that Lincoln pennies play in American culture, from childhood piggy banks to penny jars at gas stations, from coin rolls searched by hobbyists to symbolic gestures of good luck. The Lincoln cent is more than just currency. It is an enduring symbol of American values, thrift, honesty, leadership, and national pride. Abraham Lincoln's image serves as a constant reminder of the nation's resilience through civil war, economic turmoil, and social change, and the penny itself has become a miniature ambassador of that spirit. The legacy of the Lincoln cent would continue into the 21st century with the 2009 bicentennial anniversary of Lincoln's birth, bringing 4 new reverse designs commemorating different stages of his life, followed by the shield cent design in 2010, yet the 1999 Lincoln penny stands at a critical transition point in this long legacy, capturing the final full year before the end of a design era and the beginning of a new millennium. As we draw closer to the end of this exploration, we reflect on the humble status of the penny, and how this most modest denomination carries with it stories that span more than 100 years. The 1999 Lincoln penny is a culmination of artistry, history, innovation, economy, and patriotism, and by studying its details, its varieties, its errors, its mint marks, and its composition, we gain not just knowledge of a coin, but insight into the American story itself. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the 1999 Lincoln penny, and be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more detailed videos on the world of coins, rare varieties, errors, and fascinating numismatic history, where we explore the fascinating world of rare coins and their hidden histories. And today, we turn our attention to one of the most intriguing coins ever minted in the modern American era, the 1966 one-dime coin, also known as the Roosevelt dime. This coin holds more than just monetary value. It carries a story of post-war America, a tale of economic transitions, political strategy, minting policies, and collector intrigue that spans over half a century. To fully appreciate the 1966 one-dime coin, we need to understand the broader context of the time and the man whose image is imprinted on it. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was the 32nd President of the United States. A towering figure during the Great Depression and World War II, his influence reshaped American policies and government structures in ways that are still felt today. When Roosevelt passed away in 1945, the United States Mint decided to honor him by placing his image on the 10-cent coin, replacing the Mercury dime, which had been in circulation since 1916. The Roosevelt dime was officially introduced on January 30th, 1946, which was also the late president's birthday. From 1946 to 1964, the Roosevelt dime was struck in 90% silver and 10% copper. But starting in 1965, the United States Mint began producing dimes with a clad composition due to rising silver prices and a national coin. The Coinage Act of 1965 eliminated silver from the dime and quarter and reduced the silver content of the half dollar. This was a major turning point in U.S. numismatics, and the 1966 one dime is one of the earliest examples of the new copper-nickel-clad coinage. The year 1966 was still under the transitional phase of this new coinage era, and it came with a number of unique challenges for the U.S. Mint. First, the Mint was facing immense pressure to meet public demand for circulating coinage after widespread hoarding of silver coins. In the early 1960s, many Americans feared the new clad coins would be less valuable, so they held on to the older silver issues. This led to serious shortages in daily commerce, and the Mint responded by removing mint marks from coins in 1965, 1966, and 1967 in an effort to discourage coin collecting and reduce hoarding. This is why the 1966 Roosevelt dime carries no mint mark, even though dimes were struck in multiple facilities including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The lack of a mint mark makes the 1966 dime particularly fascinating because it obscures its origin and adds to the historical mystery of the coin collectors, and numismatists have long debated over the possible mintage numbers from each facility. Although the official figure for 1966 Roosevelt dime production stands at over 1.3 billion coins. The exact breakdown by mint facility is unknown, which has only fueled further speculation and interest among collectors. In terms of design, the 1966 Roosevelt dime retains the classic look that had been in place since 1946. On the obverse, we see the left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinnock, the chief engraver of the United States Mint. At the time, beneath the portrait is the word Liberty. To the left of Roosevelt's neck is the phrase "In God We Trust," and just below the neckline is the date 1966. On the reverse of the coin is the iconic design featuring a torch flanked by an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Above this design is the inscription "United States of America," and below it the denomination "one dime." With the national motto "A pluribus unum" tucked neatly between the torch and the branches, this reverse design was also created by Sinnock and has remained largely unchanged throughout the coin's history. What makes the 1966 dime especially intriguing for collectors and historians is its position in a time of great change, not just for coinage, but for the country as a whole. 1966 was the height of the Vietnam War. The civil rights movement was reaching new milestones and the space race was well underway. The American economy was shifting gears from post-war industrial growth into a new era of technological advancement. Inflation was becoming a growing concern, and the decisions made about coinage reflected deep concerns about cost stability and public trust. The 1966 Roosevelt dime thus represents more than just a change in metal. It is a symbol of American resilience and adaptation. It is a product of its time, shaped by policy decisions, economic realities, and public sentiment. Each of the more than 1 billion coins minted tells a piece of this story, from the bustling streets of 1960s cities to the quiet drawers of collectors today. There are also several interesting errors and varieties associated with the 1966 dime that continue to draw interest among collectors. Some of these include off-center strikes, double dies, and planchet errors. While most 1966 dimes were produced with relatively high-quality control standards, the sheer volume of coins means that occasional mistakes slip through, and these rare errors are now some of the most valuable and sought-after pieces on the market. In the world of numismatics, every detail matters, from the weight and composition to the design and even the historical context that surrounds a coin. The 1966 one dime is no exception. It marks a pivotal moment in the transition from precious metal coinage to modern clad coinage. and it serves as a touchstone for understanding the economic and political pressures of the time. As we continue through this video, we will take a deeper look into the minting process of the 1966 dime, including insights into the machinery used and the quality control techniques. We will also compare it with earlier silver Roosevelt dimes and explore how the metal change affected the coin's appearance, durability, and public acceptance. We will delve into notable auctions where 1966 dimes fetched high prices due to unique conditions or rare errors, and we will explore how grading affects the value and appeal of these coins, especially in the higher mint state ranges from MS-65 up to MS-68. We will also hear stories from collectors who remember when the coin was first released and the controversy it stirred among those who preferred silver to clad. We will explore how the 1966 dime is used in teaching coin identification and counterfeit detection, and how its design has influenced other world coinage and commemoratives. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a newcomer to the world of coin collecting, the 1966 one dime offers a rich and rewarding subject for study and admiration. It is a coin that bridges the gap between eras, a modest yet powerful reminder of a nation in transition, and the lasting impact of presidential legacy and public policy. The special mint sets of 1966 were produced in San Francisco and are identifiable by their strong strikes and satin finishes, although they lack mint marks. Their superior quality has made them highly desirable, especially when found in pristine condition. The SMS 1966 dimes, graded by third-party services like PCGS and NGC, have consistently commanded high prices in the upper mint state ranges, especially at MS-67 or MS-68 levels with full torch or full bands designations on the reverse. Speaking of design details, the reverse torch on the Roosevelt dime remains a focal point of grading. This area is notoriously difficult to strike fully, particularly in the clad era. A coin that shows complete horizontal lines in the torch is awarded a full bands or full torch designation, indicating superior strike quality and increasing its numismatic value even among 1966 dimes in special mint sets. Very few display this full detail, making them rare and highly prized. Turning to public perception, the clad coins of the 1960s were initially met with skepticism. Many Americans viewed the removal of silver as an erosion of value, and the lighter weight and different sound of clad coins made them feel cheap compared to their silver predecessors. Vending machines had to be recalibrated, and millions of people felt a sense of loss as silver coins disappeared from their wallets. This emotional and economic shift is a key part of the 1966 dime's identity. It was not just a coin, but a symbol of change in trust in modernity and in American values. Over the years, the 1966 Roosevelt dime has become a key piece for teaching monetary policy changes in schools, museums, and economic history courses. It illustrates how governments must balance budgetary concerns with public expectations and how materials science plays a role in national policy. Even the way the coin wears down over time has been studied to improve future coin design and composition making. The 1966 dime, both a product and a tool of research and innovation. From a historical documentation standpoint, no mint mark years like 1966 are also important for collectors building complete date sets, as they represent anomalies within the long-running Roosevelt dime series. Many collectors seek to acquire both regular circulation strikes and special mint set versions to showcase the range of quality and aesthetics available in this transitional period. In the world of error coins, the 1966 dime has also earned a reputation for producing some intriguing misstrikes. And planche flaws. Examples include clipped planches, where the coin is missing a curved segment, broad strikes, which occur when the coin is struck without a collar, resulting in a wider diameter, and off-center strikes where the image is visibly misaligned. Double die errors, though rare, have also been reported, and such coins are immediately elevated in both interest and market value. Auction records show that high-grade 1966 dimes, especially from SMS sets, can fetch hundreds and occasionally thousands of dollars, depending on condition, strike quality, and certification. Many collectors are still on the lookout for that perfect MS-68 example, with full torch details and pristine luster, while others cherish their 1966 dime as a nostalgic reminder of childhood bus fare pocket change or family coin jars. In closing, the 1966 Roosevelt dime is more than just a 10-cent piece. It is a historical artifact, a representation of political strategy, a product of scientific innovation, and a collector's treasure. It reflects the era of Johnson's Great Society, the fear and change caused by economic uncertainty, and the Mint's bold decision to step away from precious metals. Its existence challenges us to reconsider the meaning of value, both intrinsic and symbolic, and it stands as a proud emblem of American resilience in a changing world. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Coins, where we dive deep into the rich and fascinating world of numismatics. And today we have a very special and exciting episode lined up for all coin collectors, coin enthusiasts, and history lovers as we take a long, detailed, and professional journey into the history, the significance, and the value of three rare and remarkable one-dime coins from the years 1967, 1966, and 1980. And in this video, we are going to go beyond the surface and explore the economic, cultural, and minting context of each coin. We will look at the physical characteristics, mint marks, production variations, and potential errors that make these coins unique and sometimes extremely valuable, where we explore rare and valuable coins from around the world. And today we are diving deep into the rich numismatic history of the 1967 one-dime coin, also known as the 1967 Roosevelt dime. A piece that may appear common at first glance, but holds layers of historical, economic, and cultural significance that collectors and historians alike will find fascinating as we unfold this journey. We will analyze every aspect of this coin, from its creation and composition to the reasons behind its design and the context of its production. In the late 1960s, we will explore the origin of the Roosevelt dime series, which began in 1946, shortly after the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, whose legacy and leadership during some of the most challenging times in American history, including the Great Depression and World War II, made him a revered figure worthy of national commemoration on the 10-cent coin. The decision to place Roosevelt on the dime was not arbitrary. It was deeply symbolic, due to his association with the March of Dimes, a campaign to fight polio, a disease he himself had battled throughout his life, and his appearance on the dime was both a tribute to his contributions to public health and a continuation of a numismatic tradition that honors key historical figures with nationwide recognition on currency. Fast forward to the year 1967, a period of significant change and turmoil in the United States. The country was grappling with the Vietnam War, civil rights protests, cultural revolutions, and economic challenges. And in the world of coinage, the U.S. Mint was also undergoing substantial transitions. One of the key historical contexts behind the 1967 dime was the Coinage Act of 1965. A legislative measure that drastically altered the composition of American coins. Prior to this act, dimes, quarters, and half dollars were made with a significant amount of silver. However, due to rising silver prices and widespread coin hoarding, the government opted to eliminate silver from the dime and quarter entirely starting in 1965. The 1967 dime, therefore, was struck during a transitional period where the U.S. Mint was still adjusting to the new clad coinage system, which utilized an outer layer of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core. The result was a new generation of coins that looked similar to their silver predecessors, but had a drastically different intrinsic value. In 1967, the Roosevelt dime was minted without a mint mark. This was because the Mint had temporarily suspended the use of mint marks from 1965 through 1967 to discourage coin collecting and hoarding, utilized an outer layer of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core. The result was a new generation of coins that looked similar to their silver predecessors but had a drastically different intrinsic value. In 1967, the Roosevelt dime was minted without a mint mark. This was because the mint had temporarily suspended the use of mint marks from 1965 through 1967 to discourage coin collecting and hoarding, which had become a serious problem following the removal of silver from circulating coins. The belief at the time was that by eliminating mint marks, collectors would be less inclined to set aside large quantities of coins, thus ensuring more remained in active circulation. As a result, all 1967 Roosevelt dimes, regardless of whether they were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, bear no mint mark, which can lead to confusion but is a key identifying feature of the coins from this specific period. The 1967 dime weighs approximately 2.27 grams, has a diameter of 17.91 millimeters, and a reeded edge. It features the left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse with the inscriptions, "Liberty in God We Trust." And the date 1967, the reverse side of the coin carries the torch oak branch and olive branch design, symbolizing liberty. Strength and peace with the inscription, "United States of America, 1 dime," and "E pluribus unum." Meaning out of many one, this design has remained largely unchanged since its debut in 1946, giving the Roosevelt dime series remarkable consistency in American coinage history. In terms of mintage, the 1967 Roosevelt dime had a very high production volume. Over 2.2 billion dimes were minted that year, which makes it one of the most common dates in the series, and yet its significance goes far beyond mere numbers, because the coin represents a critical moment in U.S. monetary history. When coinage policy was redefined to respond to economic realities, it also serves as a marker of mid-century design values and the enduring respect for Roosevelt's legacy. Though the 1967 Roosevelt dime is not considered rare in terms of standard circulation coins, there are still particular varieties and conditions that are highly sought after by collectors, especially coins in pristine uncirculated condition, or those graded at mint state 67 or higher by professional grading services due to the high-speed minting process and the absence of proof coins in general circulation for that year. Finding a flawless 1967 dime is challenging, making high-grade specimens valuable in the numismatic market. Speaking of proof coins, it's worth noting that while regular proof sets were not issued in 1967, the U.S. Mint did produce special mint sets, also known as SMS coins, for collectors. These sets were struck using specially prepared dies, resulting in coins with a higher level of detail and a semi-proof-like finish. The 1967 SMS dimes are distinguishable by their sharper details and satiny surfaces, and though they were not true proofs, they hold a special place in the hearts of collectors who recognize their unique aesthetic and historical value. Over the years, many collectors have also searched for error coins among the 1967 Roosevelt dimes. These can include off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, and other minting anomalies which can significantly increase a coin's value depending on the nature and rarity of the error. The fascination with such errors is tied to the inherent complexity of the coin minting process and how slight mechanical or human imperfections can result in unique collectibles that are prized far beyond their face value. As we continue through the historical timeline, we must understand that the late 1960s also marked a growing public interest in coin collecting, partly spurred by the widespread changes in U.S. coinage, the removal of silver, the redesign of various denominations, and the proliferation of mint sets all contributed to a numismatic boom, and the 1967 dime stands right at the center of this cultural phenomenon, representing a time when coins were no longer just tools for commerce, but artifacts of American identity and economic policy. In the modern market, the 1967 dime remains a subject of study not only among U.S. coin collectors, but also among economists, historians, and enthusiasts who appreciate the broader implications of monetary policy, changes the debates surrounding intrinsic versus face value inflation, precious metals, hoarding, and coin circulation trends all find a microcosm in the study of this humble 10-cent piece for those building complete Roosevelt dime collections or studying the evolution of U.S. coinage from the mid-20th century. The 1967 dime serves as an essential component and a gateway to deeper understanding. In conclusion, the 1967 Roosevelt dime is more than just a piece of metal. It is a representation of a nation in flux, an artifact that carries the story of political decisions, economic pressures, technological transitions, and the enduring legacy of a beloved American president. Though it may not gleam with silver, it shines with historical significance, and for collectors and historians, it offers a rich narrative that continues to be explored and appreciated today. So whether you're holding one in your hand or studying it through the lens of history, the 1967 dime is a coin worth knowing and remembering.